And we've got the BMW X3 in the garage. It's actually in here for minor scrapes. Someone tried to touch them up on the bumper. So we're gonna fix this. That's all they asked for, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this as well if I can, and get that done for the customer as well. I originally put a complete front clip on this thing about a month ago, a whole front end. So stay tuned for the rest. Welcome back, guys. We're going to sand this fender down. Got 180 grit on the DA. And we're going to what we're going to do here is try and get these scratches out using a palm sander. I've got 180 grit on there. Might be a little bit too much for this, but we'll see what happens. And then down over here as well, I'll sand those out. I'll probably do those by hand just because of the sharp edge, and that's just dirt. And then we'll just paint this gray, and then we'll blend here. Same as here, we'll paint this gray up to about here, and then we'll clear till about here. I'll show you how to do that. Got it sanded down best we can. There is some little gouges still left, which we're gonna fill with finishing putty. I've sanded this as well. 180 grit on the orbital. I did this by hand, did that one with the machine. Now I'm gonna go mix up some putty and apply it on there, and I'll videotape that. Okay, so I've applied a thin coat of putty here as well. You want to try and put your putty on and keep your body line when you're applying the body putty. Okay, so the bundle is dry. I'm going to use this tool here to get back my body line. Take a reference point over here. What you do is you install it and you just drag it. Basically it gives you a good indicator of where you need to sand. What I'll do is I'll go and sand one side down, tape that line off, sanding a nice crisp line. Okay, so I've gone ahead and taped my my line. I'm going to sand on this side. And then when I remove my tape, I'll have a nice sharp line where the body line was. Then I'll tape the other side, sand the same thing, and then finalize it when both tape is removed. Sanding with 180 grit by hand. And there you go. I've now taped the upper half. I'm going to do the same down here. Be careful you don't sand into your tape and move your line. You want to keep your block flat to the panel. You're just going to sand away some of the pencil marker. Come on the other side. Knock down that sharpness because it's supposed to be a bit rounded. And there you go, that's done, it's ready for primer. Okay, we're going to go ahead and sand this the same way. So the bottom half is done. Tape it off. You don't need to mark a line because you have nothing to go off of. Sanding again with 180, not too hard. There you go. Get a nice sharp line. I just have the feather edge here just a bit. I'll do that with 400 and that'll be ready for primer as well. Okay, we're gonna just scuff it down with 400. Use your 2 fingers on either side of the line. You pull back and forth and you can round the edges off nice. This is 400 grit. That's now ready for primer as well. Next, what we'll do is we'll sand all of this panel, this small panel here with 600. I like to use wet, so we'll use water 600 wet before we put any primer. Wet sanding with 600. Okay, it's all been sanded wet with 600. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tape off everything we don't want painted and then shoot some primer on the repair areas. Okay, so you want to spray the bumper with a primer. It's a trim and bumper primer. I use this because you don't need any adhesive promoter. So you can paint it on the black part as well. That's that. That's it. Let that dry half an hour. It can be wet sanded and then apply your base. Okay, so I've just wet sanded it with 600 wet. And clean it off. There we go. Now we're going to clean it down with wax and grease remover. Remove any oils, greases, from your hands or from the store. So my GoPro battery died. So this is all cleaned up. I've used a tack rag basically to go over and remove all the dust and lint. I'm going to, I got the paint mixed up in a rattle can. Never ever used a rattle can for a base coat, clear coat job, but we'll see. It was cheaper and they say it works, so we'll see what happens. Very nice. So we'll do one coat. Doesn't cover very well. Give it a couple minutes for a second coat. Every time you spray, you go a little bit further into the bumper. Body line came out great. Another coat on here. You can see that it's not covering very well. Still see through the paint right there, see? So I'll put 2 or 3 more coats on in a minute and then we'll get back to clearing it. Okay, so I've basically applied like friggin' 4 coats of base out of the can because it's junk. I normally spray with a spray gun, and they convinced me it was such a small repair, use a rattle can. Covered well, but it took like 4 or 5 coats, so you can't see my repair, which is good. So I'll let this dry for 15 minutes per coat, so I'm gonna give it about an hour, 45 minutes at 20 degrees Canadian, so Celsius, so we're in Canada, so not sure what that is where you guys are. 71 Fahrenheit. And then if you're wondering what these little hoodies are here, I'm going to spray my clear along there, and then when I'm blending I'll remove that and I'll blend my clear over there. Same as at the bottom over there. Alright guys, so the car is ready for clear coat. That base is dry. It seemed to have covered pretty well. Body lines are great. I'm going to be using Speed Clear. Basically stuff dries in 15 minutes. I'm using Montana's product, Big Sky. That's the clear coat. This is the hardener. Mixing cup. You mix this stuff 4-to-1. Put it in your gun. You got to set your gun up so that you spray at 27 psi at the gun, which will give you 10-11 psi at the cap. That's what they recommend. So we'll go ahead and mix this up. Hard to do with one hand, but so you bring your next one to, I brought the first one to 3, and you bring the next one to the other 3, and that's it. Mix it up, filter it, put it in the gun. You always want to tack rag every time you do a base clear. You can do it in between coats of your base, but never in between clear coats, for obvious reasons. That's pretty much it. Picks up any nibs, dust, so that you get less trash in your paint. So I've put one coat of clear on, and what I'll do is I'll show you. I've got the Lumilite, pretty cool. I'll spray one final coat of clear for you guys, 6 to 8 inches away, and this is going to be a wet coat. The first coat was medium. Wet meaning enough so it's wet but doesn't drip. Shine your light. You can't see very well, but I can. Come around the corner. Come around the corner. Underneath. And that's it. Now, I gotta put the blender on real quick. Take the little hoodie off. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna blend that clear. Blend the clear. What that is, it's like a solvent, and it melts the old clear into the new clear and gives you a nice finish, and you don't have to paint the whole bumper. Okay, so all the plastic and paper and tape is off. Came out great, shiny, good color match. At the end of the video, I'll do a clip as to all the material I use, what you can use, and how to use them if I have time to write that in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like it. I got 15 more cars to do. Just press that subscribe button and like, and thanks, and see you tomorrow.